we've talked about your condition before, I suppose, and I told you we had nothing to do much or besides treating your symptoms, right? So here you are, some strong painkillers, and I'll see you in just 5 minutes. Oh, I mean in 2 months. Right, go back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let us first introduce ourselves. So, my name is Ines Shaduri.
And I'm Zainab Shahar.
And we're 4th grade medical students. We're just pretty honored today to present you our project entitled The Human Element of the Medical Practice. So how can we, as future practitioners, achieve what we call the ideal patient-centered care? You know, at the moment, or since a few seconds, we just played a play role or a sketch. Of course, it was an exaggerated, funny one, and we can all agree that a doctor-patient relationship should never, ever go this horribly, right? So, when we tend to talk about the interaction, about the specific interaction between a doctor and a patient, we're going to deal with such a controversial worldwide issue, which debate has never stopped since a long, long time ago. And because it seems to be a really recent issue, we're going to put at the head of the session a recent article published in December 2018 in the Journal of General Internal Medicine, which is entitled Physician Assurance Reduces Patient Symptoms in US Adults, an experimental study, which just in 2 words, examined the effect of what we call doctor assurance, which is totally absent in other therapeutics or in other pharmacological treatment. So, let us begin the session. I hope you're going to enjoy it.
We all know the generic process of healthcare. The physician detects a problem, continues gathering information, the diagnosis, treatment, and monitoring. Unfortunately, some practitioners seem to forget that the patient is not a passive recipient of health-related procedures, but rather an active participant who holds the final word of clinical and sometimes critical decisions. So why and how can we treat the patient as a person and not just a medical problem? We're going to answer this question today in 3 segments: the patient, the doctor, and the relationship between the two.
As a beginning, we're going to deal with our patient. So, let's understand a little bit of his own mindset. As we all know, and as you all know, doctors, a serious physical illness can affect almost every area of life. Relationships, work, spiritual beliefs, and even how we socialize with other people. It can make us feel sad, frightened, worried, or angry, and it may be because we feel out of control of our body or of our situation in general. We can feel lonely, isolated from family and friends, and sometimes it can be difficult to talk about a disease with someone who is close to you. We don't want to worry or to upset him, right? For some of us, the impact of a serious physical illness can be overwhelming. Cancer or heart diseases, for example, can make us very anxious and very depressed, which can stop us from doing the things that we need to do in our daily lives.
Now, doctors and future doctors, imagine sitting alone with a patient in a consulting room. What should you expect when dealing with that patient? Keep in mind, they can be very reserved and embarrassed for revealing very intimate details about their health to a complete stranger. They also may be very afraid and concerned because they do not know the medical reasons why they are there. Moreover, pain lowers inhibitions and makes people less self-aware, so do not be surprised when you are met and all sorts of inappropriate behavior. Finally, people who live with chronic illnesses can become very hopeless, which makes the physician's job significantly harder.
We just kept on talking about your patient's emotions, about your patient's psychology. What about the clinician, psychology? What about the health professional's perspective? When I say doctor, the doctor is just required to maintain the objectivity necessary to understand a medical situation clearly, to make difficult decisions, to recommend difficult treatment, and even stopping treatments, right? But
sadly, they find themselves in such daily struggle. They struggle to develop and maintain the empathy necessary to deal with patients. They suffer from constant stress and fear from making mistakes that can permanently change someone's life. Their life is filled with grief and onslaught of sickness and death. They can feel guilty and ashamed when they make errors. They also face conflict between their ideals and their reality. And they have to sacrifice their personal life for such an unusual career. Now, we come to the last part, the doctor-patient relationship, touchstone of healthcare. This relationship has several aspects. First, informed consent. The doctor has to be truthful when informing the patient about their disease and to be direct when getting their consent before giving treatment. Second, shared decision-making. The patient should have the opportunity to choose among the different treatment options offered by the physician. Third, physician superiority. Usually people who go to see a doctor do not know the exact medical reasons why they are there. A good physician should keep that in mind and educate them. Most of all, doctors should make their best effort to benefit their patient, not to please them. And the most sacred notion of medicine is the doctor-patient confidentiality.
Okay, as a matter of fact, we just choose to talk about some key traits to define a good clinician. So, the first one is being confident. And as we always know, the doctor's confidence gives always the patient's confidence. The second one is being empathetic. When we say empathetic is understanding what your patient is feeling and experiencing. And then we move directly to being humane, the exact synonym of being caring, kind, compassionate. What about being frank and telling your patient what he needs to know in such a plain language? Do you know what does it mean? A plain language is a language that your patient will definitely understand. Oh, and by taking your patient's input seriously, we're going to deal with or to talk about being respectful. And finally, we just tend to select an original trait, which is being thorough, or shall I repeat it? Being thorough, which is being conscientious and persistent.
This way, a strong relationship between the doctor and their patient will lead to quality information about the patient's health, better health care for the patient and their family. It enhances the accuracy of the diagnosis and it increases the patient's knowledge about their disease.
Now, to just enhance more the significance of that relationship between the doctor and the patient, and because we're just inspired by a physician, by Dr. Lisa Rankin. She's a physician and she tend to criticize in such a clever and such a wise speech what she called the old medicine. She's just trying to let us imagine putting ourselves in someone else's shoes. That someone is of course your patient. So she said, when you come in to see me, you will forgive me for forgetting your name, not remembering that your husband has died or just died, and keeping my back turned to you throughout our visit, because these new computers keep me from looking you square in the eye. You will not get your feelings hurt when I never remove my hand from the doorknob throughout our 15-minute visit, even though you are trying to confess that you've had pain with sex for 6 years now. You will understand that I don't cry when you do, even when I just told you your baby has died. Because if I let you see how much I hurt with you, our relationship might get too personal, and you may not respect me anymore. And then Dr. Lisa Rankin gets to the final point of her speech by saying, "Forgive me, my lovely patient. Forgive me if I don't treat you like my best friend, and understand that I'm really, honestly, doing the very best I can." So we should have reached the final point of the project now, but I just think a lot, and I think I should have tell you about my own personal, inspiration. My personal inspiration was, and still's a beautiful soul. A beautiful soul that gave me the motivation to stand up here today in front of you, in front of all these beautiful people, and to say that my beautiful inspiration was my dad. My daddy was diagnosed. Years ago, or a long, long time ago, with pleural cancer. He was diagnosed with that pleural cancer, but I badly remember when he first consults his first doctor. Guess what he said? He just said, "You're going to be dead in 3 months." He said, "You're going to be dead in 3 months." I just wanted you to imagine the emotional impact of these few words on my daddy's psychology, on his family's psychology. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not collecting pity here. I wanted you to receive a message saying, ladies and gentlemen, imagine putting yourself in your patient's shoes. Now we just switch to the final point of the project. We'd like to express our gratitude to our supervisor, Dr. Menelmach, for giving us her total support. Our best regards go to the committee for giving us that precious opportunity. And then a big, big thank you to you, dear audience, for giving us that precious attention. Thank you.
Thank you.